News 8 is following breaking news out of Maryland. Maryland State Police say a helicopter and small plane collided in mid-air. 3 people are confirmed dead, 2 others injured. They're being treated at a hospital in Hagerstown. It happened around 4 o'clock this afternoon near the Frederick Municipal Airport. A witness working near the crash site tells our sister station WBAL he saw a parachute stuck in a tree. We'll have more information as soon as it becomes available. Is following the breaking news out of Canada, where a soldier and a gunman are dead after several shootings in the capital city of Ottawa, including gunfire inside Canada's Parliament building. Canadian officials have just identified the gunman as Michael Zehaf-Bibeau. Witnesses say he was dressed all in black and shot a soldier at point-blank range at a war memorial before he ran into the Parliament building, where dozens of shots rang out. Police are still looking for 1 or 2 other gunmen. That's the latest report. We will have a live report on the attack coming up on News 8 at 6. Fort Indiantown Gap is home to the Northeast Counter-Drug Training Center, training law enforcement to help get drugs off the streets. But as News 8's Mike Straub shows us, federal budget cuts threaten the future of the facility, and one U.S. senator says the safety of your community. The president's current budget proposal calls for additional cuts to the center and others like it around the country. Commitment 2014 election coverage. A new study finds Pennsylvania is 50th, that's last in the U.S., for job creation. That's according to the left-leaning Keystone Research Center, and that could become ammo in the race for governor. 8 on your side, government reporter Pete Montini. Tax hike may be coming to a Cumberland County township. Silver Spring Township is considering raising the tax that funds volunteer fire companies. A public meeting to talk about it begins at 6:30 tonight at the New Kingstown Fire Company. That's on Locust Point Road. As volunteer fire companies deal with funding issues, one Lancaster County department has partnered with a fundraising company to bring in big money. News 8's Lancaster County reporter Meredith Jorgensen has the story. Department needs to fundraise.
Coming up next on News 8 at 5:30, 2 scams that just won't quit. The red flags to look out for to protect your money.
And what some are calling billions of dollars in wasted taxpayer money. They're just cute. At WGAL.com, we have a link to information on how to deal with bats around your home. And if you have a wildlife question for Jack, email it to news8@WGAL.com, and you may see your answer on air. Coming up in about 15 minutes on News 8 at 6, a bullet found in a Lancaster County high school forces early dismissal. What happened, and reaction from students and parents.
The search area moves again in the manhunt for suspected state trooper killer Eric Freem.
And a Harrisburg police officer accused of stealing money from a nonprofit tries to avoid jail time. In York County, a freak accident involving construction equipment caused a man to fall 8 feet into a basement. News 8's York County reporter Ed Weinstock shows us what happened.
And I lost.
The York Habitat for Humanity is also working on 2 other projects in the city.
International news at 5:30. A big first for China. The nation has just launched an experimental spacecraft that will orbit the moon and return to Earth. The mission is a test run for a future unmanned voyage to the lunar surface. China intends to land a spacecraft on the moon in 2017, have it retrieve lunar samples, and then return home. So
you think you rule Twitter? Not so much. Britain's Queen Elizabeth has joined the Twitterverse. The Queen's first tweet welcomed visitors to a new exhibit at London's Science Museum. She signed her tweet Elizabeth R for Regina or Queen. So far, the British monarchy's Twitter account has more than 700,000 followers, just like that. The 88-year-old Queen has embraced new technology through the years. She was the first British monarch to have her coronation broadcast on live TV.
Cool air, so hopefully for
Has
Halloween,
to happen eventually.
it will, and it looks like there'll be some rain, maybe accompanied with that. Hopefully it'll hold off for our Halloween trick-or-treaters.
And there's a difference between cool and cold.
It'll be cool.
I'm noting that. Thank you, Matt. Let's go to Linda Weed for a look at tonight's takeaway. Information from the last hour you can use right now.
If you want to donate to 10,000 villages to help combat the Ebola virus in West Africa, you can shop until midnight tonight, and 15% of the proceeds are going to go to providing resources in West Africa.
And if you start receiving mail from credit card providers, don't be alarmed. You're most likely receiving one of the new high-tech chip cards. Remember, in order to prevent fraudulent charges, monitor your account every 48 hours.
And parents, there is a recall involving some models of Evenflow Embrace car seats. U.S. safety regulators say the buckles on the seats can become hard to unlatch, making it tough to get your child out of the seat in an emergency. If you have questions, you can call Even Flow at this number. It's free, 1-800-490-7591. News 8 at 6 is next. Tonight, Canada's capital on high alert after attacks in and around Parliament. At least one gunman opened fire, killing a Canadian soldier in Ottawa.
The gunman was killed as well, and tonight we're learning more about him. NBC's Steve Handelsman has the latest.
For suspected trooper shooter Eric Freen, and schools were shut down today after a police dog may have picked up his scent nearby. News 8's Barbara Barr reports from the scene. The man expected to be the city's next treasurer is withdrawing his nomination. Tim East.
Next week.
Yeah, warm it up and clear it up on the weekends, and most people won't
Wouldn't that be
complain.
nice?
Hey, mild in October, we'll take it.
I will.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Right now, public health advocates and some congressional lawmakers are trying to stop children from working on tobacco farms. This is the second attempt at the law. 2 years ago, the Obama administration backed off a rule that would have banned children from working on farms, even if they were family-owned. The new effort includes legislation to ban children under 18 from working. Some mixed financial news from Harley-Davidson tonight. The bike makers reporting strong sales but lower profits. Harley says it made just over $150 million in the third quarter, down 7% from the same time last year.
It's going to start costing you more to ship by UPS. The company plans to hike rates by 5% after the holiday shopping season. Earlier this year, UPS said it would set ground shipping rates by box size and weight rather than just weight, following a similar move by FedEx. And tonight, some fast food diners are unhappy about the cost of McDonald's food. Prices have been slowly creeping up. Meals are about 3% higher now compared to 12 months earlier. Rising meat and cheese costs, as well as minimum wage labor increases, are blamed for pushing the prices higher. Corporal Todd Chance has been with the Harrisburg Police Force for 10 years, but has been suspended since September.
That's right after the allegations of stalking and harassment were first made.
News 8's Jim Sinkovitz is live from Harrisburg with the details. If you are not a fan of your town's gun laws, you may soon be able to sue. Tonight, a bill that would allow organizations like the NRA to file lawsuits against Pennsylvania cities and towns is making its way to Governor Corbett's desk. News 8's Jim Sinkovitz is live from Harrisburg.
Coverage you can count on continues.
In tonight's Commitment 2014 election coverage, the race for governor and taxes.
Tonight, Governor Corbett is claiming in a new ad that if Tom Wolf is elected, your taxes will go up.
8 on your side, government reporter Pete Muntean checks the facts in tonight's new Ad Watch. A big turnout in Harrisburg tonight for one of the first meetings of the new volunteer group, Harrisburg Thriving Together. About 100 people met at the Zembo Shrine to talk about projects residents can do around the city to make it a better place to live. So far, the group has planted trees on North 3rd Street. Some residents say a group like this is just what the city needs.
Crime and blood.
At Harvard are announcing the results of a new study they say shows colleges are still inconsistent with the way they handle concussions. They found nearly 1 in 5 colleges either did not have the required NCAA concussion management plan or have done poorly at educating staff about compliance. 3/4 of college coaches or sports medicine staff members say their schools can improve the way they educate staff and athletes about safety. The NCAA instituted a policy 4 years ago requiring schools to educate and protect athletes from head trauma.
Tonight, Pennsylvania State Police are investigating whether a stolen car found in New York is connected to the search for Eric Freen. The local sheriff's department says there's no indication that it is connected, but it wants to make sure every lead is checked out. A state police spokesman says police are still focused on the woods in Barrett, Price, and Paradise townships. Tomorrow, it'll be 6 weeks since the shooting that killed Corporal Brian Dixon and wounded Trooper Alex Douglas.
The 23-year-old Maryland man who jumped the White House fence last night has been formally charged. Dominic Adesanya faces felony charges for assaulting a police dog and making threats. It happened just after 7 last night.
It might have been a rainy, windy day in the Susquehanna Valley, but it had nothing on the weather in New England. Heavy rain brought major flooding to parts of Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Winds were clocking in at nearly 60 miles an hour and knocked down trees and took out power to thousands of people.
More trouble for Texas Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas tonight. Since diagnosing its first Ebola case last month, the hospital says revenue is down more than $8 million. Emergency visits dropped by 53% and surgeries by 25%.
And we all know how expensive Apple products can be, but $1 million? That's how much a rare Apple computer just went for. It's one of only 50 that Steve Jobs built himself in his garage in the 1970s. The Steve Wozniak designed Apple I computer has an intact motherboard as well as a vintage keyboard and monitor. According to the auction house, the winning bid came from the Henry Ford Museum.
A big turnout in Lidditz, Lancaster County tonight for a former Warwick High School teacher battling Alzheimer's.
News 8's Justin Betty shows us how he was honored.
Hundreds of